All right, so welcome to the Zenshin Self-Defense Academy. We're going to go on a little 2-mile walk. I don't like to run and I don't like to jog, but I love to walk. And I do a 2-mile walk about 3 or 4 times a week. And today is just one of those days. And generally I have a lot going through my head when I'm walking, and I don't carry my camera with me. But I figured today I'll bring my camera just in case I want to chit chat, because I don't do these walks for anything other than my own personal enjoyment and what little conditioning I get out of it. It's not extensive, and sometimes I'll jog a little bit of it, but not normally. So I'm just going to be on a 2-mile walk, and I am right in the middle of rendering like it's an hour and a half worth of just sitting and chatting, and that was all done at the EAT dojo. And I figured, I got plenty more to talk about, so I might as well do it like on one of my walks, because like I said, every time I'm out on one of these walks, I've always got tons of things running through my head. So when I feel the urge, I'll turn it back on and we'll chat about something martial arty. Okay, so right away something dawned on me that I haven't really chatted about much, and I thought maybe I'd get it out, and that's conditioning, stretching, cool down, all the warm up, all that stuff. So I can actually sum all of that up in 2 words: I don't. Now, before anybody decides to express their viewpoints and throw out statistics or scientific proven facts and all of that stuff, just listen before you decide to express how wrong I am about that. So here's my personal point of view, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat that for you, this may not be a doable thing. It may not be accurate, and it may not be true for you, but for me, it is absolutely accurate, true, and real. So, am I in perfect physical condition? Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I like to think, well, my interpretation, and of course everything that I say is just my interpretation, the best physical condition I was ever in was from the age of 25 to 35. 25 is when I joined the Army, and 35 was when I officially retired from MMA fighting. Now, I say officially because I did come out of retirement and took a fight for a promoter that needed someone to fight a guy. They didn't have anybody to fight him, and they came to me and asked me to do it. And that was 3 years after my retirement. I still trained, but I didn't train like I was going to fight. Anyway, I took the fight. It went all 3 rounds. I did lose on decision, and there's no doubt about it. I didn't win that fight, but I went the whole 3 rounds. So anyway, back to the I don't warm up, I don't stretch, I don't do cool down, I don't do any of that. Now, I've got plenty of people that tell me that's not good and I shouldn't do that and this, that, and the other, but that's how I do it. I've been doing it. I do it like that my whole life. This is my philosophy behind it. A lion. So yeah, when a lion wakes up and decides it's ready to go pounce on the gazelle, you'll see it yawning. Maybe you'll see it stretch its back a little bit, stretch its front paws, you know. You might see that a little bit, but, you know, they don't go through a full stretching routine. They don't warm up before they jump up and go chase the gazelle. They don't do any of that. That's not real in nature. That just doesn't happen. Anyway, plus, and this is my argument, in a real life situation, which is all I'm concerned about, I'm not going to have time to stretch. I'm not going to have time to warm up. You know, I'm not going to have time after the situation to cool down with some nice stretches and, you know, leg lifts or whatever. That's not real. That's not realistic, and that's not going to happen. So why would I train that way? I am fond of expressing this type of attitude. My body does what my body does, and I won't make my body do something that it won't do. I'm not going to force it into complying to something that I don't normally do or wouldn't do on a regular basis. Stretching, warming up, it's all nice. I don't have anything against it. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. But I don't. Now, I will say this. I started training when I was 12 years old. I will be 57 years old in about 3 months. And although in my early days, and I'm talking about pre-teens, you know, there were small gaps in training, but there hasn't really been any gaps in my training in more years than most people were alive. So I do this on a daily, and I just keep myself the way I am. Now, am I an old, fat, bald, lazy guy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Old, fat, lazy, bald guy. Don't have any arguments with me on that one. But it'd be real embarrassing for this old, fat, lazy, bald guy that's almost 57 years old to take out 2 or 3 20-year-olds, which I can still do. And I don't stretch, I don't warm up, I don't cool down, I don't do any of that. And I never will. I personally don't have a need for it. I keep myself in a condition of constant where I'm at. And again, like I said, I only do what my body allows me to do at the time. All right. I legitimately don't stretch, and I couldn't in any normal circumstance. I couldn't kick somebody in the head if I wanted to. Now, I don't want to. I don't ever have any need to. I will never in my entire life have a need to kick somebody in the head while they're standing up. Now, I will say this. I will stomp on your skull when I get you to the ground, though. But I don't need to do any of that because I don't have to be that limber. My body does what my body does, and that's what I train. I say this. There's no reason that I would ever need to kick somebody in the head. Just no reason. I mean, until kneecaps reach someone's head level, I'll never have a need to kick that high. I don't care about competitions. I don't care about sport. I don't care about tradition. It's all nice. There's nothing wrong with it. But my goal is for realistic street combat. Plain and simple. That's all I care about. And I won't ever need to kick anybody in the head until they get to the ground, and then I'll stomp on you. But other than that, so don't need to. If my body cannot do it in the situation that I'm at presently, then my body's not going to do it in the first place. Just how it is. If I can't kick you in the head, I'm not going to try to kick you in the head. I won't have no need to it. Now, if I felt there was a need for something, then I would condition myself to do it. But in particular, I don't have no need for that. Warming up, again, I'm not going to argue whether it's beneficial. I'm sure there's benefits to it, but I don't have to. Now, you may say, oh, you're fooling yourself, and come up with tons of reasons why I should. My age, injury, all that kind of stuff. But there again, I'm not going to have time to warm up before those 3 thugs jump me while I'm taking my walk in the park. So why would I warm up during class? Because it's not going to happen in real life, and I need to be in a position that trains the way I'm going to be in real life. And you could say, well, stretching and warming up and all that during training will help you in that real life situation. Well, maybe so, but I've been training for 45 years. I haven't legitimately stretched in probably 30 of those years, and I still do just fine. So again, I only do what my body allows me to do at that moment, and I'm very content with that. When I'm teaching classes, I don't take time out of class to warm up, stretch, or cool down. I tell everybody, if you want to do that, come in early, get it out of the way, or do it at home. But I'm not going to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes of a 45-minute class or an hour class doing all that. I don't teach aerobics. I don't teach exercise classes. You know, I'm not a strength conditioning coach. None of that is the major importance with what I do. Now, if you need it, by all means do it. I've been living my entire life quite well without it, and it does me just fine. And like I said, I pass that along to my students. If you want to stretch, show up to class 15 minutes early and stretch. If you need that, then go for it. But I'm not going to spend half or more of that time in a class that's short enough as it is doing stuff like that, when you could actually be working on something that I consider much more important. And that's teaching you how to save your ass when you're walking in the park and someone decides to jump you. All right, well, I'm well over halfway through the walk. Again, I don't push myself horribly with these walks. 2 miles, and I generally do it in 30 minutes, and I'm happy with that. I don't have any need or desire to do anything more than that. The walk is physical in certain aspects, but it's not so much the physical that I'm really worrying. It's not really the physical that I'm dealing with, just the mental aspects of doing the walk. It's not the most easiest thing for me to do all the time, which pushes me and forces me to do something that does condition. I do get conditioning out of it, but it's not something that's a quick spurt of energy and boom, 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 and then you're done. I say it's a nice leisurely 2-mile walk, and I enjoy it. I do not enjoy jogging, and I do not enjoy running. And at my age, I really don't do anything that I don't enjoy. Plain and simple. I don't have to do any of this. I'll be honest. I love training. I love teaching, but I don't have to do it. If I wanted to, I could hang up my gloves, go sit on the couch, and veg out for the next 30 years until I die. I could if I wanted to. I don't see the purpose in that. But, nearly 57 years old, been in the martial arts for 45 years. I don't see the positiveness of me busting my ass and forcing myself to extensively work massively hard to get into a physical shape that most would consider much better than what I'm in now. Don't have no need for that either. I enjoy where I'm at. For a almost 57-year-old, I think if you averaged out everybody in America at 57, I'm in a damn good position. So today, since I brought the camera along, I've walked a lot slower than I normally do. I still feel it. I'm still getting something out of it, and I'm enjoying it, and it's bound to help me in some way, one way or another. So positives for that. I got about a half mile left, and then I'll be back to the start point. So I'm not sure if I got anything else to just chat about, so we'll see. This may be the end of it for today. So because I've been walking a lot slower than I normally do, I got a lot of energy left. Usually at this point, I'm pretty well tuckered out. But since I brought the camera along and going a lot slower, I don't have that exhaustion that I normally have. And honestly, I feel like running right now. But I'm sure if I give myself a second to think about it, it'll go away. So, so I will say this much for, I don't have any need or desire to warm up, to stretch, and cool down after class. I just don't. I keep myself extremely active personally. Someone else may say, no, I need stretching, and that's fine. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, well, you need to stretch too. Well, that's fine. You can say that, but I'm not gonna. Like I said, my body will do what my body does, and it won't do what it can't do. Or I should say, it won't do what I'm unable to do at the moment I need to do something. But there's plenty of stuff it can do that I can do, and I'll always be able to do. It'll be just fine. So I urge that if you desire to express how wrong I am, please watch the video that discusses what I consider my viewpoint on using the word wrong. Yeah. So I say this, besides the stretching and the warm-ups and cool-downs, I don't really do a lot of conditioning, at least anymore. I don't do any of that, very little of it at all. I have recently started getting into light conditioning and weights and things like that, just to supplement, nothing extensive or massive. When I was training to actually fight, most of the training that I got was fight oriented, but I do see a need for conditioning. Conditioning is different than stretching and warming up and cooling down. At least I see it as different, and quite frankly, the only viewpoint that really matters to me in this matter is my own. So it's always worked for me. I do not have a PT test for my students. Now, that's something that is about to change, though. I have began creating a physical fitness test for my martial arts students. Now, myself, I don't have the massive amount of skills that other people around me do that I can rely on. So I am going to use what's available to me, and I have a few strength and conditioning coaches that are quite willing to assist me in creating a decent PT regimen for my students. I think I'm educated enough in the last 45 years of martial art training that I rely on what works for me, and just like Zenshin Aikijitsu is a system that works for me, and that's the only real importance. So we'll see how that works. It's coming along.